Okay, this is the agenda for today. And then for your topic, it's going to be the research report again. We're going to go over the calendar essential question for week 7. And we're really going to focus on the outline for today, since that is going to be due. Okay. Here is our calendar for week 7. Okay, so you turn in your outline today. Okay, so you have at the end of the day to turn that into the Dropbox. It needs to be typed. So some of you brought your actual copy where you're going to handwrite your notes and everything. That's fine. But you need to transfer that into your Word doc or whatever document you use. You need to type it. Okay? You have an outline? Yes. Okay, and then Friday you have a catch-up day. So I've included a couple of catch-up days for you guys to get caught up with your research report if you need it. So I really urge you to stay within the deadline and the due dates I have set for you. But like I said, you do have a catch-up day tomorrow. Okay? Here's the essential question. So you guys should be writing that down. What are the 3 supporting points that you will focus on in your research paper? So you guys should be taking notes, all of it. We really need to focus on this research report is worth a big percentage of your grade. So if you don't do it, it's probably not going to pass the class. Okay? Yes, you know it. You can do the outline with your paper. Okay, again, what are the 3 supporting points that you will focus on in your research paper? And then we're going to move on to the next slide. Okay, these are research paper due dates. You have 3 of them. So actually it should say 2/26. The outline is due Thursday, 2/26. And you're supposed to use the template that I provided. It's in Unit 4, Day 22. Yes.
I have a question about that. On the paper requirements that needs to be a 7-8 paragraph,
Mm-hmm.
the outline is 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you look,
ourselves, correct?
Yeah, you can keep. If you fill it up, the outline, it also says that the body paragraph can be 1 to 2 paragraphs. So that's where I'm counting the information. Yeah. Okay. So our rough draft in works cited page, that one is due 3/9. You need to include your works cited page. Next week when we meet, we're going to go over the works cited page information so that you can include that with your rough draft. And then our final draft is due 3/19. You can turn it in before. So right after you turn in your rough draft, if I give you feedback in the next 2 to 3 days, you can turn it in, make, edit it, or do whatever you need to add or change to your draft, and then you can turn in the final draft before that. That's fine too. All assignments need to be typed and turned into the assigned basket in the Dropbox. Okay, so last time we talked about the thesis statement. That's going to be your main focus, and I've been getting a lot of K-mails about thesis statements. So should I focus on this? Is this thesis statement okay? And so I want to cover some of that today. It's very important. That's going to be the focus of your report. So it needs to give the reader an overview of what you will write about in your essay, and you should include the subtopics that you're going to write about as well. Okay, so I need you to include at least 3. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to give you examples. So I don't want you to use these as your thesis statements. I want you to kind of get an idea of what they should look like. Okay, there are so many directions that you can go with this paper. It depends on you. So the first one I have here. First of all, you kind of need to know whether you're going to be for, against, or you're going to be more objective, more neutral. Okay, so what's your stance? That's the first thing about your thesis statement. Then you need to include 3 supporting points, at least 3. That's going to be your body paragraph. Okay, so let's take a look at this first example. Okay, GMOs have carried major downfalls that deal with safety, ethics, and the destruction of our natural resources. Okay, so the first one, it's talking about the downfalls, and then I'm mentioning 3 major points here. I'm going to talk about safety, ethics, and the destruction of our natural resources. So that's one right there. It has to be a statement. It can't be a question. You have to provide all your information in that one sentence. Yes.
I did part of my thesis statement was the big question is the GMO safe?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put like a question mark after that. That's okay, right?
Yeah, as long as you have all your information within that sentence, that's fine.
Only one sentence?
1 to 2 sentences would be fine if that's what it precedes. Okay? So let's take a look at the second one. The second one, this student wants to talk about the benefits of GMOs. Okay? GMOs have been beneficial in the development of improved crops, conservation of natural resources, and increase in food security for our growing population. So there's those 3. Okay? Development of improved crops, conservation, and increase in food security. And the benefits is the focus. You have your 3 supporting points. Okay. A third example here is more of a neutral stance. Okay. Maybe you want to just talk about the pros and cons about GMOs. Okay. So this is what it would look like. Maybe to better understand GMOs, it is crucial to look at the history, ethics, and safety of its production in our world. So maybe you're just looking at those 3 in a neutral point of view. And that's fine as well. Okay? Our fourth one here is focusing more on ways to either support, in this case support, it could be actually going against or for GMOs. So let's take a look at that one. Several studies have shown the negative effects of GMOs. So you're talking about negative effects. Therefore, it's important to consider ways to reduce their support and consumption of them by supporting. So how can you reduce it? Supporting the labeling of foods, shopping at non-GMO markets, and support local non-GMO farmers. Okay? So this one's more of what are you going to do to support non-GMO. Okay? So again, the first one is more of the cons, second one pros, third one more of a neutral stance, and this fourth one is more of what actions are you going to take for or against it. Okay? So you get to choose whatever stance you want to take. Okay? And then you get to choose your 3 supporting points. And I would really pick the ones that you can write a lot about. So if you have no information on one of your supporting points, you better change it so that you have enough to write 1 to 2 paragraphs on that. Okay? Or you better start looking for information to do so. So here, again, are the examples.
Can you do your paper on just like the cons? Because I can't find a lot of the benefits.
Yeah.
I don't have enough information.
Yeah, you can do it on just the cons. So it would look like the first one. Okay? GMOs have carried major cons with them, and these are the 3 cons that I'm going to talk about. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. So you guys should have your outline with you. So take out your outline. You guys should have your outline with you. I have an extra copy. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go over this outline. So we have our introduction. Okay. What was that? Okay. We need to pay attention over here, otherwise we're going to have to switch seats. Okay, this is very important. Okay, we're going to go over introduction right now. So we have to have an attention grabber. So you can include a fact, a statistic, a quote, a question, anything that can stand out and can grab the reader's attention. Okay, so it could be just one sentence. I like starting off with statistics, something that can shock people. Okay, and then they're interested in actually reading my paper. So remember, I'm going to be reading these papers, and it's going to be one after the other after the other. You want to make them interesting. You want them to stand out. Okay. And then you want an introduction. And this is going to be the big chunk of your first paragraph. Okay, about 5 to 6 sentences. Provide brief introduction. Don't give away all of your information, though. Okay. You can start off with defining it. You guys should be writing notes on the side so you remember what you need to do for yourself. Okay. So you can define what GMO is. That can take one sentence right there, or 2 sentences. Okay. Where do GMOs come from? Okay. What is the history? Okay. Who created these? And then why is this topic important? Why do you think it's important in today's society? Okay. So that should be about 5 to 6 sentences. Then we have our thesis statement, and that's what I just went over. That's the first thing I'm going to look at when I'm looking at your outline, just so that you know your thesis statement. If it's not good, I'm definitely going to deduct a lot of points because that's going to be your focus. And if you have no focus, then there's really no strong paper. Okay? So I'm going to look at the thesis statement. And I just provided examples of how you're going to do that. So you need to either give me a stance, okay, neutral, pros, cons, and then give me your 3 supporting points. So that's the intro. Okay, body paragraphs. You can tell that they're pretty long. And we have 3 only right here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we have 3 long body paragraphs. And as I already mentioned, this is only for a 5-paragraph essay, right? But within here, you can see at the top it says the body paragraph can be 1 to 2 paragraphs long. Usually it's 2 paragraphs long because it's so long you have to divide it up, okay? So yeah, include any information on your outline that that can help you to write this outline. So it's very important for you to have a very well written outline because writing the rough draft and the final draft is just going to be so much easier with all your information. This is the hard part. Okay.
When does it have to be due today? Then I don't want to make some corrections because I know my
you can turn it in till 11:59 p.m. Yeah. Close to midnight. That's fine. Okay. So let's take a look at the next one here. Okay, the body paragraphs. This is very long. Like I said, it could be 1 to 2 paragraphs. Usually when I had my college essays to write, my supporting points were about a minimum 2 paragraphs. Okay? So you're going to have a topic sentence. So if I'm choosing to write about maybe the cons, and one of my points was to write about how it destroys maybe the native population, okay, or the wildlife, then that could be my my topic sentence, and it would support my my cons. Okay, you also need to have a subtopic though. How is this? Okay, you need to think of a subtopic that's going to support your point. Okay, so you're going to have 2 subtopics per body paragraph. Okay. So how, if this one is, this whole paragraph is going to be about how it endangers our wild native life, plants and animals. Maybe for this subtopic, I'm just going to focus on the animals. And this one, I'm going to focus on how it affects the plant. Okay? See how it all correlates with each other. Okay? And then you have a detail or example. That's your evidence right here. And you should have note cards. That's what K-12 suggests for you to do, and I think that's a great suggestion. So if you need note cards, I have some here. Okay? You can, with note cards, you can organize your papers and kind of take a look at what works and what doesn't. So this note card should contain your evidence. Quotes, statistics, numbers, anything you find in your reading. Okay? And then you want to add a commentary analysis. So if I have a statistic, okay, I can't just introduce the statistic and not say anything about it. I have to have commentary. Okay? So I have to explain why I'm using that statistic. How is that helping my thesis statement? Okay, and then you're going to repeat that again. Another detail that's going to support that point. And a commentary. 1 to 2 paragraphs. And then you're going to repeat this, and you're going to have your second subtopic for supporting point 1. Okay, so you're going to see this in your outline. So it probably will be close to 2 paragraphs for each supporting topic. You need to have a conclusion, bring everything together, and a transition. Okay? So you're going to connect whatever you said in that paragraph to whatever's coming up next. So now that I talked about how GMOs can affect plants and animals, what's next? Okay. I'm also going to talk about whatever you're talking about next, you're going to mention. Okay? That's your transition. So you have 3 of those body paragraphs, and you have this information in your outline. So we're going to go to the conclusion part. So that last paragraph, what do I need to see? Oh, let me just go back to the body paragraph real fast. So wherever it says detail or example with sources from your note cards, you should say it's from your note cards, not for your note cards, from your note cards. Okay? So if it says with sources, put in parentheses the title of the article. Okay? For every body paragraph, there is detail. Number 1, it says detail or example, and it should be from your note card, and it says in parentheses with sources. You want to put in parentheses the title of the article, so you don't forget when we go back to writing our works cited page. So for every detail, you want to put it in parentheses. Okay? The title of the article. Okay, outline, the conclusion. Okay, you're restating your thesis in different words. Don't forget to include your 3 supporting points. And then you're basically just summarizing what you said for point 1, for point 2, for point 3, and then you're going to include a concluding statement. So you want to include some insight about your thoughts or implications of what you have just proven. Okay, so what's going to happen, what's next, what are some steps to take, okay? Nothing completely new. It has to be connected to the information you just revealed to your audience, okay, since this is a research report. So I'll give you some time to write some notes for that one. And then I'll move on. So today was more of really getting into that outline, into how to write a thesis statement. And then next week, we're going to bring all our resources of information, and we're going to work on that works cited page so you have that done as well. Again, for your outline, you do not need to include your works cited page, but you do want to include in parentheses the names of the articles you're using as your details. Here are some transition words that you can use. Okay. In addition, moreover, furthermore, just for help as you're writing. Additionally, also, maybe you want to write a couple of these down that you feel comfortable using. Thus, that is, consequently, for example, hence, nevertheless. So as you're giving your example, you can say, for example, or if you're giving an explanation, consequently, or furthermore, okay? So I'll give you some time to write some of these down. In addition, you want to add more information to what you have already said. Moreover, same thing. Furthermore, same thing. Okay. I would stick to a couple of these. I don't want you using every single one of them in your paper. Just stick to a couple that you believe will be helpful for your essay. Then we have to show when something's contrary to something else. However, even though it says this, however, or on the other hand, or otherwise, or even though, or on the contrary, conversely, okay, these are all transition words that can show opposite of what you just showed. Okay, you can say something like, even though proponents of GMOs argue this, okay, what are you arguing for? Okay. And here's some phrases. After all, as a matter of fact, as a result, in conclusion, in fact, in other words, okay? So this is more of when you're kind of finishing up your paragraph and you're moving on to the next one, okay? So overall, or in conclusion, or as a result. And here's some phrases that you can use when referring to naming your sources. According to, yeah? Give you some time. Next week, yeah, since you don't need to turn that in with your outline.
Like on the outline, I did like a bunch of things and then I just put parentheses and I just do it. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Do we need that? We do need that, right? We turn the outline.
Okay, so I'm going to go to that last one. According to or as stated by in the article or books by. Okay, you can reference your sources. And we'll talk more about in-text citations next week and your works cited page. Okay, if you want more information on your works cited page, you can see Unit 4, Day 32. Okay. Mm-hmm. You guys good? Okay. So don't forget to do your works cited page. That should be included with your rough draft. Unit 4, Day 32 is where you can find K-12 information about the works cited page if you want to get that information before we meet next week. And again, next week we're going to focus on the works cited page, so bring your completed outline. I would print that one out with any comments that I made about your outline that you need to work on. So you can continue working on that, and then bring your resources so we can work on our works cited page as well, and any questions that you have. Okay, so this is what's next. You need to respond to the central question for week 7 for the students who are not here in person. If you're here in person, you'll get credit, but you still need to have some type of sample work for your homeroom teacher for English. Okay? So thank you. If you have any questions, you guys stay here. If you have any questions, please make sure to email or call me at the end of the recording. Okay, welcome Spanish 1. This is Unit 23. Okay, this is our agenda. Looks very similar. Like every week we have our calendar, our essential question. The vocabulary this week is on reflexive verbs, and the grammar, same thing, conjugating reflexive verbs. Okay, so this is actually a little complex, so we're doing some practice today. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to help answer them at the end of the session. Here's our week 7 calendar. We're finishing up Unit 22. Unit 23 starts till tomorrow. So this is a preview of your vocabulary and grammar. Usually we get a preview before we actually get started with it. Any questions on the calendar? No? Okay. Here's the essential question. What are some rules to consider when conjugating reflexive verbs in Spanish? So if you are... Yeah, I think I have some extra. If you're joining me in person, you are getting credit for coming in and participating. Otherwise, you're watching here with me right now, you need to answer that essential question to get practice, to get points. Okay, so what are some rules to consider when conjugating reflexive verbs? So we need to pay attention to the grammar lesson for today. Here are the reflexive verbs, verbos reflexivos. Yes. Yes. I'm going to go back, give you a minute. Anyone need paper? More of the template paper, we're good? Okay. We're good? Okay. So here are, here's our vocabulary, verbos reflexivos. These are some of the things that you do to yourself. So, cepillarse los dientes, to brush one's teeth. Okay, so you see how all of these end with the se? Okay, these are the reflexive verbs. That's going to give you that hint. Okay, peinarse, to comb one's hair. Cortarse el pelo, to cut one's hair. Secarse, to dry oneself. Dormirse, to fall asleep. That's a reflexive verb as well. Vestirse, to get dressed. You're dressing yourself. Prepararse, to get prepared. You're preparing yourself for something. Arreglarse, to get ready. Levantarse, to get up. You have a couple more. Acostarse, to lie down, to go to bed. Ponerse la ropa. Okay, maquillarse, to put on makeup. A lot of these things you do in the morning. En la mañana. Afeitarse, to shave. Sentarse, to sit down. Bañarse, to take a bath. There's a difference. And then we have ducharse, and that's to take a shower. So bañarse y ducharse. Quitarse la ropa, to take off one's clothes. Probarse, to try on. Despertarse, to wake up. Y lavarse las manos is to wash one's hands. Lavarse las manos. Okay, so I'm going to give students an opportunity to complete these. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. What do you think they're doing? What's the reflexive verb that goes with the first one? Let's take a look. What are they doing in the first one? Okay, dancing, and then what does he say? Saying goodbye. So that one would be despedirse. Some of these are on our list, and some of them are not. This to say goodbye. Okay, what about the second one? What do you think they're doing? This person's doing? Taking your clothes off. Maybe it looks like it's a night routine. Okay, so what would that one be? That one's on our list. Number 2. And we have ponerse la ropa, which is to put on clothes. Which one is to take off one's clothes? Quitarse. Sorry, quitarse la ropa. La ropa? What is la ropa, guys? Yes, so to take off one's clothes. So number 2 would be quitarse la ropa. Okay. Maybe la ropa y luego se ponen sus pijamas. Who does that when they get home? No one? No one takes off their school clothes and puts on pajamas when they get home? No? Okay. So let's take a look. There's the pajamas. And what is he doing number 3?
Brushing his teeth.
Brushing his teeth. Brushing his teeth, maybe? Maybe. Face. So this one would be lavarse. And face is cara. We went over that last time. Lavarse la cara. Or if you think he's brushing his teeth, maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, number 4. When we're going to sleep, what is that? Número 4. Acostarse, acostarse. Ugh, can't spell it. Let me go. Acostarse, there we go. Number 4. And if you're in the Blackboard Illuminate room, you guys can help me out too. What's number 5 right here? To sleep. How do we say to sleep? Dormirse. Muy bien. What about number 6 when you're waking up? What's that one? Levan. O despertarse. 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 You're waking up. Then after that, you're actually getting up. So that's levantarse. What about brushing teeth? What is that one?
I'm not even gonna try.
Give it a try, guys. What's that one? Brushing your teeth. Cepillarse. You're close. Yes. Cepillarse los dientes. Okay, what about number 9? That one's to shower, not to take a bath. Ducharse. Good job. Okay. And then number 10, he's getting ready maybe for school or not. It looks for he's getting ready for tennis. How do you say that? Ponerse la ropa. 11. What do we have for that one?
To eat.
That one's, yeah, it looks like they're eating breakfast. Which of those reflexive verbs would fit for that one? Do we have one? We could say comer. Comerse su comida. Comerse. Okay. And what's number 12? Okay. Yeah. So saying goodbye. Again, despedirse. Saying goodbye. Okay. Good. Okay, let's do the practice here. You have your sheet. You could just, write number 1A, B, C, whatever you think it is. So those of you who are here, please help and participate. So we have number 1, ponerse la ropa. Which one of these does it match? 2, acostarse. Good. Okay, match it up. 3, afeitarse. 4, despertarse. Y 5, lavarse las manos. So if you need one of these practice sheets, you didn't get one? You guys have your practice sheet? Okay, try doing the ones that you know first. Okay, so you know that one. Lavarse las manos. Manos. Okay. Your hospital in the chair. Okay, these are try. La ropa, we talked about what la ropa was, ponerse la ropa. We're just doing the first part. Afeitar. In this list we have afeitar. Okay, so you guys are saying 1 is C. Okay.
Number 5 is wash my hands. Number 4 is wake up. Number 2 is A. It is. Oh, C. I'm sorry.
Okay. Número 1, ponerse la ropa. ¿Cuál es? A, B, C, D, E. Número 1 es C. C. Muy bien. Número 2, acostarse. A. Muy bien. Give me the letters in Spanish. Number 3, afeitarse. B, D o E. D. Muy bien. Despertarse. ¿Es de o es? Okay. Y la última, lavarse las manos. Es de. Okay. So, chequea tu trabajo. Check your work. Okay, now we're getting to the reflexive verbs. Okay. So, a reflexive verb is the subject and object of a sentence. Okay. Hold on. So, if the subject of a sentence receives the action of the verb, it will be reflexive. Okay. So, if it receives the action, it's going to be reflexive. So, Andrew lava el coche. Andrew washes the car. So, it's in this sentence, he's doing the action to something else. The car, right? Andrew se lava. Andrew washes himself. That's an action that he's doing to himself. That's where we would use the reflexive verb. Andrew se lava. Okay? Since Andrew is receiving the action of the verb in the second sentence, the verb is reflexive. Okay? So the verb lavar is used.
So if someone is receiving the action, then it's reflexive.
If that same subject is receiving the action, yes, it's reflexive. So, so what we would do, we would use the reflexive verb lavarse. So you have the verb lavar, and then you add the lavarse. Okay, but then you need to be aware of the pronouns, and we're going to conjugate that in a little bit. Okay, reflexive pronouns are, they go along with the reflexive verb. They're accompanied by each other, okay? So to form a reflexive infinitive verb, you're going to add the se, like I said before, at the end, okay? So we have to call, llamar, okay? So maybe I can say, I can use the verb to call my mom. That's someone who another person who I'm performing the action for. Okay? But if you're calling yourself, that would be a reflexive verb. Okay? Maybe it would be llamar, not reflexive. Llamarse would be reflexive. Okay? Yes, double L. Yeah. When the verb is conjugated, the pronoun will change to match the subject of the sentence. So we need to conjugate them as well. So, okay, this is the reflexive verb. But again, if the pronoun changes, we're going to need to conjugate it, and we're going to do that. We're going to do some practice today so you understand that a little bit better. Okay. So you have your chart right here that I gave you. Okay. You have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay. So you have your column right here with you. You have to know the reflexive pronoun that goes with each. So it's yo, me. Okay. Fill that up. The second column should be me. Yo, me. Tú. Second column should be usted. Third column should be usted. I'm sorry. Third row. Not third column. Everything goes in the second column. Okay? These, the me, se, nos, os. Oh, those go into reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns. Yes, thank you. I'm switching my vocabulary from columns to rows. Okay, so the first one is yo, me, usted, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotros, yo, vosotros, vosotros, vos. I'm sorry, vos. And then what? And the last one is ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah, I was confusing you.
I got confused because
Like when you use, you're confused.
Yo me, usted, él, ella, ustedes, nosotros, no, nosotros, vos, ellos. Check, okay.
You use L and LS, the same as in LO.
Yeah, These two are the same. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed. Yeah, they are the same. Yeah, Naomi made a good point here. She noticed that these two are the same. Yeah, they are. They're the exact same reflexive pronouns. Okay, so you will have yo me, tú te, él, ella, usted, se, nosotros o nosotras, nos, vosotros, vosotras, os, ellos, ellas, ustedes, se. Okay? So, and then this is what it turns out to be. Yo me means myself. Tú te means yourself. Él, ella, usted, se means him, her, yourself. This one means ourselves, each other. No. You can write a note next to it so you know what it means. That's fine. And then this one is yourselves or each other. And then the last one means themselves, each other, yourself. You just extend it for the next three. Oh, yeah, just extend it. If you want to write a note of what it means in English, that's fine too. Just put it, I will put it in parentheses. This thing's dying. Okay. I'm going to go to the next one. So it should look like this. Yo me, tú te, usted, él, ella, se. All these should be in one. Nosotros, nos, vosotros, vosotros, os. And these all should be in one too. Should be se. So you just need to remember the reflexive pronouns that go with each of these, the pronouns that we already know. Okay, so when a reflexive verb is conjugated, the matching pronoun goes in front of the conjugated verb. We know that already. Okay. So let me give you the example of llamar, llamarse, to call oneself. So the first one would be like this. Okay, take a look. Yo me llamo. Tú te llamas. Él, ella, usted se llama. Nosotros, nosotras nos llamamos. Vosotros, vosotras os llamáis. Ellos, ellos, ustedes se llaman. See how I'm using the correct reflexive pronoun. Then I have to conjugate. Okay? So we'll do some practice. I'm sorry? We're going to do the verb peinarse together. Yeah. So let's try the verb peinarse. Okay? So we have yo, me. What would it be? It's going to end with the O. Almost. Okay, let's take a look. So we have the verb peinarse. Okay, and we're going to take the arse off. Okay? Yes. Yo me peino. So that's the first one. So write down peino for the first one. Peino. Yo me peino. That's the first one. So we're following that pattern right here that they have. See how they have the verb llamarse? They took off the arse and then just have the O. Yo me llamo. Tú te. Okay, what's the next one? The next one is AS. What's the ending here? AS, right? Peinas. Muy bien. Peinas. Tú te peinas. Let's complete this chart. Let's go. Okay, so tú te peinas. Okay, we're doing the verb peinarse. Yo me peino. Usted peina. Yeah, we need to do that for the whole verb. Kind of the same thing as llamarse. Okay, what's the third one? Ella, usted se peina. See how this stays the same? Same. So this is going to stay the same. Yeah, I was just using these. So I'm going to repeat saying for everything here. And I just want to look at this. Okay, so él se peina. Amo. Nosotros nos peinamos. Peinar. Aquí, Peinar. That's the ending. And the ending for this one is A-N. Peinar. Oh. Yes. Okay. So we have levantarse in here. How to conjugate levantarse. That's another example. So you would have yo me, tú te, él, usted, él, ella, se, nosotros, nos, vosotros, os, ellos, ellas, ustedes, se. And then we would do the same thing. We would conjugate the verb. Levanto, levantas, levantas. See how the endings stay the same? Levantamos, levantáis, levantan. Okay, in the case of, these are special cases. In the case of body parts, the reflexive verbs can be tricky. So, Daniel washes his hands. Daniel se lava las manos. Even though the second sentence means Daniel washes himself the hands, it's still correct. Okay? So in Spanish, it's understood that hands are his, and because of that, it is reflexive. Okay? Because it belongs to him. Okay? So if it's anything with the body part, that would be reflexive. Okay? If it's something like my car, my house, that's not really part of you, that's something else. So you wouldn't use reflexive. Okay? And word order. Okay? So, as in the case with object pronouns, reflexive pronouns generally come before the verb. So sometimes, though, they can change. Okay? So, Daniel necesita lavarse las manos. That has changed, and that's okay if it's the object pronoun here. Okay? But in your quizzes and tests, you're going to see that most of the time it's going to follow the reflexive pattern that we went over right now. You do the yo, the pronoun, then you do whatever the reflexive pronoun is, and then the reflexive verb. Okay, and some verbs change slightly in meaning. Hacer is to do, to make. Hacerse is to become. Volver is to return. Volverse is to become, literally to return to oneself. Ir is to go. Irse is to go away. Okay. And here's passive voice. You're going to have more practice when you get into Middlebury. Reflexive verbs can be used to express something in the passive voice. For example, el sol secó la ropa, the sun dried the clothes. La ropa se secó al sol. The clothes were dried in the sun. Okay? And, okay. So what's next? Make sure you submit your response to essential questions in Middlebury to get credit. And you just really need to remember that chart, this one, okay? What do each of these mean? The reflexive pronouns, and then you need to match them with the verbs. Okay, any questions right now? Nope. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a great day. Yes. I'm keeping it, huh? Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, thank you so much.